Hey guys, I'm Jake Boomer with Limit Out Marine. Today we're going to be rigging my 921 top to bottom here today. We're going to have Sal, the master mechanic, most sought after mechanic in the Northwest, and general manager of Limit Out Marine, the Ninja, Chris Ferry. And I'm going to put a camera in their face and we're going to go through all the details and the little tiny things that make a really big difference. So we're going to show you how we do it here, top to bottom. This boat has nothing on it. It's a trailer and a jack plate. We're going to hang the motor. We're going to do trolling motors. We're going to do new Solix 15 graphs, Lithium Pro batteries. We're going to do it all today. Put it in this video, so stay tuned.
It typically seems like with a hydraulic jack plate that we get a ton of down and not a ton of up. If you mount it in the standard hole, which usually is the number 2 hole right here, you're going to start your gauge out at like 10, and then you're only going to be able to go up 10 notches. If we start the motor up a little bit higher, we're going to be able to go up a little bit higher because that's going to put the motor up another 2 inches, and then that will give us more range on the gauge to go down to 0.
Steer like a Cadillac.
Is that Cadillac steering, bro?
Yes, it is. Hydraulic.
Out of a what, like a 78 Coupe de Ville?
Nothing but the best. Riviera.
Riviera. I was a Broham man myself.
Oh yeah. Okay, so a lot of times your steering will get sloppy over the year. So what you do is you want to loosen this Allen nut bolt, and you can back this ring collar out. So you get the play out of there.
So why are we going back with a countersink bit? Probably the number one reason is if you don't want cracks to come out here from your torque of your trolling motor, you need to countersink everything. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do right here.
So we angled this trolling motor so we got enough room to put one of those T&H Marine bounce busters on there, which is a mandatory for rough water boating. That's a ninja rigging trick right there.
It's a nice use for firewood.
This bolt right here on your Minn-Kota Ultrex is the only bolt that holds your motor on, which is a one maintenance check you need to check all the time. You can blue Loctite if you want. I don't, because I just tighten it up on a regular basis.
What are we doing?
We're gonna redo these ends. I don't think they're heat shrink.
And we don't roll that way.
We don't roll like that.
When we rig these boats, every time you put a screw into one of the decks for these batteries, you punch a hole into a compartment they can't drain. So every time you fill the back of the boat up, for instance, you're in rough water, you end up getting water in those compartments. Over the course of 4 or 5 years, your boat starts to get waterlogged. Some guys think it's about 100 pounds every 5 years, but your boats can take on a whole bunch of extra water. So a good thing to do, Ferry and the boys will do it for you if you ask them when they rig your boat. Pull all of the battery trays, put marine grade adhesive or silicone sealant back into the holes. Any screw that goes into one of these back deck compartments gets silicone. You put it back in with the silicone to keep the water out, keep that thing from waterlogging. So when you're low man on the totem pole, that's what you get to do. So it's my job today. I'm not allowed to touch anything mechanical.
So Phoenix actually runs their own power cables up here, 10 gauge, all the way to the, from their circuit board. We're going to use these ones for the 360 power because it's going to shut off the heading sensor, so the compass isn't always running. We went ahead and we ran our own 10 gauge 10-2 safety duplex wire all the way from the battery to the front, the instructions, and it says connect graph directly to battery. What happens is guys run it from here, they run it to there, it goes to a breaker, goes to a switch, you get a ton of interference, and plus you have a bunch of different breaking points, right? As a tournament angler, if I make my connection here and my connection at the battery, I only have 2 connections I have to look at. Okay, I either know I have a problem here or at the battery. We'll put the fuse in the back at the battery because we don't want it to burn all the way to the front if something does happen. And then we're using heat shrink connectors. These are actually step down connectors, so it goes from a 10 gauge to a 16. And then we're using a ratcheting crimp plier. One crimp, done. Most guys are gonna mount their graphs like this, right? This is how we're gonna mount them, right? So they get their graph on it nice and easy, right? The reason why we don't do that here, just in case a guy takes a wave over the bow, as soon as it takes a wave, it pops this right out and there goes your graph over the side hanging by the cables, or it snaps the cables off and you no longer have a graph. We turn our mounts backwards like this. That way, if you do take a wave, it's gonna have to break this whole mount off before you lose your graph.
Why are you pulling the charger out, Sal?
We're gonna upgrade to lithiums.
We don't need to haul that around. How much does that weigh?
About 30 pounds. Too heavy.
So we got a beautiful day for the on-the-water testing. We got this bad Larry ready to go. Thanks to Chris and Sal and Russ and all the boys. So here's the front of the boat, rigged, on the water testing. Super clean, super simple, easy access to everything you need. Once again, we left the power and the network out for the 360. So if you're in really shallow water, you can just spin these two little knobs and pop it off, cut 3 zip ties, throw it in the back of your truck, and you don't have to worry about it getting hung up in all the grass. The Solix 15, this thing's amazing. It's got a ton of options to it. It's gonna take a while to figure it all out, but we just mounted it really simply with a lot of foot room on for the pedal, but out of the way and up higher so that you can see it a little bit better. We did not put the power cable through it. We drilled no holes through fiberglass in this install, and the main reason is that when you drill through fiberglass, you have to put in some kind of a boot or a mount system to keep it from, to make it look good. But if you have to change your trolling motor out for any reason, all of that really nice shoot through plastic housing stuff makes it really hard to do quick changes. And when you're in a tournament situation, say your trolling motor has a bad day and you've got to replace it, it's a lot easier to do it that way than it is to thread it through a bunch of different openings. If you have any questions about the way we rigged this boat, or if you'd like to have some of these improvements done on your boat, call Chris and the boys. They can re-rig anything. They can rerun power. If you're having power issues, have them run the power lines. It's worth the money. You just won't deal with your graphs dying when you crank the motor at the end of the day. Those are all the types of improvements these guys are really good at. So call Limit Out Marine, call Chris Ferry. They'll take care of you. They'll do a really good job. So thanks for watching, guys.
Don't forget your roots.
Yeah, don't forget your roots. This is where it all starts.
From that to this.